I didn't add one of these this week. Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. The I.S.U.P.K is run today by Commanding General Hannah, the one man with the rank and with the authority to be to be the leader of the nation of Israel at this time until Christ returns. I want to say Yahweh Basham Yahweh Barakatam to my brothers, Yahweh Shamar Elatan Basham Yahweh to my sisters. Today, you know, all right, law class. Now, do we have any laws of the land that support debt forgiveness? Are we have any?
No, sir.
I'm not aware of any. Yet still, you know, you read the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, it encourages debt forgiveness. But because our oppressor is not our friends, not our brother, they behave like a real oppressor. So you have never forgiven of any, be forgiven of any. And no matter what, they don't even want to give you that. They don't even want to give you the credit. Much less for you to forget, for you to get credit, forgiveness. However, there was a time when our banks got that, ain't it? Yeah, we call it bailout. One bank get bailout twice, and yet still them same one turn on the people. All right, zeroing on Deuteronomy, still in Deuteronomy, chapter 15. Deuteronomy chapter 15. Reading all the chapter, beginning from verse 1. You want to read for me? Can you manage? All right. So Deuteronomy 15 deals with forgiving debt. Why would debt forgiveness be important to any nation? Tell me. From the standpoint of, from a biblical standpoint, why would it be important? Can't think of no reason. Even off the top of your head.
That is that which you owe. That I mean that which you owe.
No, Mr. Why would it be why would it be important?
Important.
In any society to forgive debt?
Because it helps to create a good record or a balance in record of your credits.
Explain, what do you mean by that? All right. When I think about the poor of your society, Well, our banks don't lend to you if they find out you're poor, they're not going to lend you money. Sadly. But that's the reality. If they find out you're poor, they ain't going to lend you any money. That's one. Two, it's important that you see how much in America, so much people have living on the street. If you're a rich country, debt forgiveness can prevent things like that. People losing all that they have prior to all that they have prior to that point when they require the debt forgiveness. So you forgiving the debt prevent persons from becoming homeless and prevent persons from just slipping into absolute poverty. Can you imagine, for instance, now, well, you hear how much landlords that are filed for eviction since COVID, over 10,000 in the States. And you all know which set of people will be evicted. They will negotiate with other races, but they don't care about you that way. Just throw you on the street. You live in an apartment, you're paying your rent for even 20 odd years. And then you fall short 1 year because of COVID. They don't care. They throw you out. But where should you go after they put you out? You go on the streets. So debt forgiveness can prevent things like that. Also, the banks, not to mention them, they take what you have and just sell it for a penny. Sell it to their friends for a penny. All right, ready to read?
Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 1. At the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release.
All right, there's one which we call the Jubilee. What's the difference between this 7-year release and the Jubilee?
Jubilee is a celebration. That is a celebration.
The word suggests celebration, but in our law, what is this year of Jubilee, which is every 50 years? Every 50 years, according to our biblical laws, we should have a Jubilee. Jubilee does what? The land that would have come to you because of inheritance comes back to you. If for some reason you have to sell it, coming back to you 50 years after. Or it comes back to you in the year of Jubilee. If you sell it a couple of years before Jubilee, comes back to you at the Jubilee time. So if you sell a land, let's say last year was a Jubilee and you sell a piece of land this year, that land would value way more than the land, piece of land sold closer to the Jubilee. So that kind of different. This one now is credit. Continue. Start from 2 again.
And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release.
Mm-hmm.
Of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall release.
All right, so what is telling you? What if anyone people is foolishness? Because this goes to your brother. And you see where other nations within this society they get benefits. You don't. Anything you get coming to you, there's somebody there to stop it or to take it before it reaches to you. It never reached to the poor. Well, unless it's what they call it again, food stamp. Unless it's food stamp. Outside of that, they try and stop it. You remember Operation Pride? Yeah, man. Operation Pride was supposed to give land to the poor. That's why it was called Pride. Under whose leadership? P.J. Patterson. P.J. Patterson came up with Operation Pride. And then P.J. Patterson put it in like a criminal hand. And that criminal, and he's well, I think he's an Israelite. But you know, you can't just judge based on skin color. But I think he's an Israelite, the minister that it was given to. And they squandered a couple $1 billion. And those lands did not reach to poor people. Anyone remember Operation Pride? And what happened in Operation Pride? We'll remember the scandal. Should I call it a disaster? I suppose I can call it a disaster because that's what it was. It was a disaster unto our people. Poor people say, yes, finally, the government intend to share some of the land out to us. And then there comes somebody in the midst. And the worst part, he didn't even go to prison. He didn't even get charged. Didn't even get charged. That man, wicked still. He robbed the poor. Oh, man, that's the worst of the persons you can rob. Continue reading.
Continue.
So basically, this is telling that this is for someone that is your brother or sister, but someone that is a stranger, they still owe you after that 7 years. Save when there shall be no.
Save, verse 4, save when there shall be no poor among you. For the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it.
All right, so it says only one time there is no more poor against among you that you would stop having the 7 year release. Continue.
Verse 5, only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all these commandments which I command thee this day. For the Lord thy God blessed thee, as he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow, and thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee.
Well, that was a blessing, but I think we know what happened, because the clause was in 5. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all these commandments, which I command you. So, in other words, we do those commandments, these nations, we shall lend to them and they shall not lend to us. Is one who we have lending to nations now. Right. Chinese coming up on now. But the Chinese not really lending money. Chinese doing business. Chinese not really lending you money now. Everything that the Chinese give, they expect it to come back to them tenfold. And our government is falling for it. Anytime we go 5G with China, that's a done deal. That is going to make us slaves, Chinese slaves. Goodness gracious. But here, from the time of Deuteronomy, the Most High has set how we are supposed to be blessed as a people. Well, it's our stubbornness. Our stubbornness caused things to go the way it went. We're at verse 5.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother.
All right, that means that you know, don't harden your heart against him, and don't shut your hand so tight. You have heard the term trickle down effect before when they talk about commerce and economy, don't? Trickle down, where you have things in the society, like take for instance tourism. They now want to talk about trickle down with tourism, where when a tourist comes into your country, he pays airfare, he pays for lodging. That's the hotel, right? He pays for food. Now, let's say he eats only from the hotel. Now, the hotel would buy from the small farmers in the country, right? Now, that tourist comes in a country to explore, to see the place. Kind of dangerous at times, but that's what happened. They come to see the place. Now, while they are going to see your place, they rent a car most time. True?
Okay.
Or if they don't rent car, they take public transport. Anyway, they put some money in the economy. They're on the road traveling. They will want something to eat. They will want a drink. They look at jelly man, the man who sell coconut. Tourists stand up and watch him cut it and drink a jelly straight from the nut. Something that no matter you travel to the States, you don't see that. No matter you travel to the States, you don't see that. But you get the chance, they get the chance to drink a jelly from straight from nature, so to speak. So money pass on. So all those little areas, money spent from the man with the hotel, the man with the plane, the man who sell the snacks, the man who sell the jelly on the road. The money trickle down, right down. Now, here he says that you should not, verse 1.
Verse 7.
And if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren, within any of thy gates in the land. So this talking about if I have one man among you that is poor, that in thy gates in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. But you find that in tourism and it's shut like this now. No more trickle down. The tourist comes in, he stays in the all-inclusive until it's either a bus going to, they have bus that take them on tour. So you have mainly Juta, you have other tour companies, but Juta is the main one that takes them from point A to point B for some visit. So let's say they want to go to Milk River Bath. A bus take them from their hotel and carry them right to Milk River Bath. No stopping in between. So there's no more jellyman to benefit. If that tourist wants to go on the road, is so caution that the caution them, they instill fear in these tourists. Oh man, that they don't want to go on the road. So there is no more tourists traveling around on their own that they might go and support the little man on the roadside with anything. You used to have these little shack restaurants because a lot of them like to eat in the shack restaurant because that's where they experience the real raw Jamaican cooking, which is by far better tasting than the foods in the hotels. And they know that. But what the hotels start to know.
So of course, sir, they approach a lot of these persons with these restaurants or shops
Exactly.
and employ them.
I'm employ the chef. So the chef now comes into their establishment and prepare that same meal that they would prepare in the shack. So the trickle down that used to because when him come and him go to the shack restaurant and him eat, him buy a little soda and buy a beer. Who sell that? Is either the shack man or somebody come sell him something, right? I won't get into the weed smoking because many of them come here for that. But trickle down, take time leaving. So you're finding that the money is staying up top. You have a company in America, Amazon. You know how much money Amazon make last year, I guess? Just wild guess. In the billion.
Yeah.
Huh?
10 billion.
2 billion.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, 5 billion.
Try $10 billion
10 billion.
about that
Mhm.
in profit. Not revenue, no. In profit. So there's no trickle down there. No. The only way you can tap into that 10 billion is, and guess what? You still won't get it. Is to come up with a product that you can fit into that network. So you can only benefit from persons who purchase through what's his name, Jeff Bezos' network, and you have a product dovetail into that network. Then these people might spend something with you, and they find that with the advent of COVID. I believe one of the punishment for this, this non-trick, they cut the trickle down from the tourism. And so the tourism the industry get licked. It's all right, man. Anything that the most high people is not benefiting from, again, get licked. Tourism. You remember you used to have the school system. There's a lot of, used to be a lot of trickle down from schools, isn't it? Remember? We have the vendors who go and sell at the school gates. The little lady or the little man who can bake him little thing and make him little thing and then go and sell it to school children. They come up with all sorts of things like say people are trying to poison school picnic, which is a damn lie. It's these companies who supply in the schools and want their products to sell come up with these lies.
They want it all.
They want it all. But there's a saying, want all, lose all. Because what happened now? The most of people not benefiting. Right across the country, they prevent schools from having lunch, from school children from going out the gate for lunch. They provide them with the lunch inside. Either the school cook it or they rent the canteen to one of these companies who can manage to pay them $1 million per annum for rental. Look, a poor man can't do that. So the little poor man, that money that used to benefit with that used to turnover within the community from the schools cut. And these all of these schools now have big accounts from the canteen. Most I slash all that. No benefit from that. Dance hall. We lose dance hall, you know. Them big shows about this and that. And you remember they used to have them little thing like here about the Weddy Wednesdays and then this and that. A little poor man them who used to keep them little 1 and 2 dance. Come up and can keep these things, you know. They knife it out. And who is benefiting? I saw a dance that they were promoting one time in somewhere, I think it was down in Lloydersville and the plantation there. Rumba Rum Plantation. Forgot what they call the dance there. And I was looking at some pictures. And I said, look at this. These offspring of the slave masters now come and take away the music from the slaves and invite them up now to them plantation to come and party. And who benefited?
Yeah.
They benefit. The little man who used to come at the dance gate, come selling cane and selling peanut and liquor and something. Those little trickle down. Not there. Because the entire system have closed its hand so tight that the little poor man can't benefit from anything again.
Mhm.
Even well, I won't touch a motor vehicle because it's just one company come up with a technology where a little man can benefit from. That was PW. The little man don't understand this technology, so it can't benefit. Everything you need, you have to go back to them. Right? But you have other companies out there that was doing the same old technology that little man could benefit from. But any business that don't promote trickle down get knocked. COVID knocked them. The banks, like I said, the schools, the hotels. One time I go through Ochi, you used to see the jelly man. And you see tourists come and a whole lot of reason with the jelly man. And I drink 2 jelly. Right? All that gone.
It's not yes, sir. They even rob the liquor man. They rob the liquor man of everything. They move the same these persons who own these hotel chains. They move about in society and they
Learn from the people.
They come along, they
All right.
buy and they learn.
Festival. The Friday thing that we call a festival. Where did it start? Elsha. Right over Elsha.
Mm-hmm.
And JF Mills come take it over. JF Mills come catch it, put it in a box now. Probably gone abroad. Jerk chicken. These are things that the people should be benefiting from, you know. Reggae music. All these things package and gone abroad. And we are so stupid that we think that the white man has the right to come and take our things. So when you allow him to come and take your things, what your children benefit from? You know the billions of dollar reggae music turn. All because they seek one thing, to close their hands so tight, which the Most High here is commanding you not to do. You close your hand with your things, yes. But I mean, just like in the sea, where you have the shark go on and feed. When the shark go on and feed, him can't swallow everything, When him goes and him grab his prey and him wrap and tear it so that put it in bite size and can swallow. You have crumbs that fall out. I have some smaller fish who so small that him can if the shark can't bother to eat them. Who benefit from the crumbs, right? If you notice our laws when it comes to reaping, it tell you don't glean the corners of a forest. Why? So that the poor, the needy can benefit. This is how you prevent homelessness within your society. Hunger to the point where people have to go and steal and hold up people and them things because they're hungry. This is how you prevent it. But Esau now, because him think him smart, and he say, oh, no, let them go and work. And he knows that he cannot provide job for everybody. He knows he cannot provide job for everybody. So what happened? Some get and some don't get. And who don't get, the man who don't get him still want to have a family, So how is he going to take care of that family? The society is going to pay. And you end up with things like robbery. But Esau don't care. Esau make the judicial system. He makes the judicial system because he doesn't care what when him close him hand and you stop benefiting. He doesn't care. As far as he is concerned, you can go and rob as much as you want. He has a judicial system to take care of you. Anyway, continue.
Verse 8. But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth. Verse 9. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the seventh year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him naught, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin unto thee.
So you think you're smart now, and then they are 6 years now, I said. I let nobody know this year, because next year and the year of release.
Yeah.
You understand? That's what it is talking about. So the man, somebody will come to you. We think we smart, But the Most High has, within the laws, he has cornered all options. Because he knows that someone out think they're smart and say, oh, Jubilees who covered up with I lend nothing. I will lend only after the Jubilee. Because I have 7 years to collect from you. But the Most High said, no. You do that and make the poor man cry unto him. He's going to answer. And it's you going to pay. You who should have known better and you who are rich. And trust me, this is not talking about the little man, the man now within the our society who have a one shop. Think of what the other nations are benefiting from among us, that we should be benefiting from, the millions and the billions of dollars. right? This is the kind of person who would have had money to lend, right? So the Most High is telling them, the rich of our nation, who is the one who is always screwing up the nation, the Most High is telling them, be careful. Because if the poor man cry unto him, he's going to answer. Continue.
Verse 10, thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand to.
All right, so it is telling you, give him with an open heart, because the Lord is going to bless you more. That's what it is telling you now. So when you now come up with a new plan and say, I can do X, Y, and Z, and you come and you make your plan. All right. Nowadays they tell you about writing a business plan, don't? But this is what the Most High calls it. Read 10 again.
Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him.
All right, so here it comes on. Because
that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto.
That's your business plan right there. So he's telling you how to be blessed with your new business plan. Give unto your brother. Give unto the poor of your people.
Okay.
Because God shall bless thee in all thy works and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto. That's your business plan right there. So don't bother be an Israelite and believe that you can be mean and stingy and have a prosperous business plan. Come up with a prosperous business. The business you run is going to be as mean and stingy as you are. You ever got some business and you see that it's just mean, the proprietor mean? Yes.
So like your son, just like the church that is always taking from our people but never giving back in any way, shape, or form. Yes, some of them say they
Some give back,
their
but
leads.
mhm.
In most cases, you have the poor and needy among a lot of these churches, and they help them not.
Yeah, man, Joel Osteen was one man. Him go and get females kick, you see.
Let them not.
Remember his story?
Answer.
Yeah, man.
People went to refuge and what was.
Yeah, man. Him not dead before Christ come, man. Him shall witness it and him shall bear the punishment. Shall go into slavery. Them very same people in lockout shall put him into slavery. Where we are now, 11.
Verse 11. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor and to thy needy in thy land.
Help them. That's what it is telling you.
Verse 12. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee.
All right. So you see, by law, somebody can be sold into slavery. Trust me, that time is coming back, That time is coming back. 13.
Verse 13. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty.
So you buy him and work for you for 6 years. This is talking about without pay. It's talking about without pay. So you work for you for 6 years and then 7 year come now, release. You still have to give him something, man. Can't let him go from you empty. So I say, brother, you're going to be free this year. I have a little package for you. All right.
Verse 14. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy stock. And
Out of
thy stock.
Stock?
Flock, yes, sir, out of thy flock.
Okay.
And out of thy floor.
All right. I think this probably is a mistake, you know. Read on, and you'll see where if it's a mistake. Flock, it is talking about your animals, right? Mm-hmm.
And out of thy floor and out of thy winepress, if of that wherewith the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him.
All right. Well, I wonder if it should be floor or flower. I don't know who you are.
So like I said, floor and winepress.
Yeah.
Floor and then out of thy winepress.
So floor would be one.
This is where it should be.
That's why I said maybe it's flower. Hmm? Right. But let's take it for what it is. It's talking about blessing him. I notice it also give him money. Bless him from what is in your storehouse. The wine press have what in it? Wine. And this is not talking about a wine press like you have a couple bottles of wine in your yard, you know. Think of one of these companies that sell wine, that have a wine cellar with hundreds of bottles of wine, cases, right? It's talking about the wealthy of Israel blessing the poor. So you bless him from your, where am I again? Bless him from a flock, so you give him animals. You give him wine. And you bless him from the floor. You bless him from the wealth that you have in abundance there. Your wheat, your corn, your oil, your so on. You give him a little of everything. So he probably can go and sell it if he so desire. Or you give him enough flock. You can go raise him animal. Don't. Maybe one day he become rich too. Continue.
Verse 15. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today.
Right. So we were bondmen in the land of Egypt, and we are bondmen today. We are bondmen today because how are we bondmen today? Yes.
You're slaves in Egypt.
Hmm?
Not necessarily because you're slaves in Egypt.
Yeah, but how are you bonded today in Egypt?
You live under the subject of your question.
You know, you should not get this from just.
Yeah, should I?
Yeah, man, because every month when you forget a certain amount of money, you look on them take out taxes, you know. You just eat your teeth and say, how much money they take out everybody for tax? Yeah? Yeah, that I don't even want to look at the pay stub. Taxes, man. Not to let them bound you by taxes. So, and which is kind of clever, because we're going to do about the same thing with them. You know. So, they're not telling you that you must make bricks, or you must tread wine, sorry, you must tread wheat, or you must work in the wine press. It doesn't matter where you work. You have taxes exacted at you. You are bonded. And if you go to another land, you have to pay tax there. You can't escape, eh? And they are thinking of ways now where if you go to another land and you can work in that other land, the taxation from that other land comes back to your land to help pay off the debt that your country have. That's what they're thinking about now. Verse what?
Verse 16. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee, then thou shalt take an oil and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever. And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise.
So, what is this telling you to do?
If they are comfortable with you and really don't want to go,
Mm-hmm.
then you shall take them in and treat them as your not as a slave, but as a free person.
No man, he tell us if we take the all and trust his through his ear. What is that telling you to do? Pierce him ears and mark him, because him is now your servant forever. So him be your servant now forever don't mean that he's now bonded in it. Can be your hired servant. So no work for a witch. That's why I not do like the boring of the yesterday. Take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever. It shall not seem 18.
Concern. Verse 18. It shall not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away free from thee, for he hath been worth a double hired servant to thee, in serving thee 6 years, and the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all that thou doest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because sometimes I get some hands around you that, boy, trust me. Like Jacob unto Laban and Joseph unto the Egyptians. Because of Joseph, the Egyptians' wealth increased. You know that.
Ah.
And because of because of Jacob, Laban's wealth increased tremendously. So much so that they didn't want to let him go. Huh? Well, guess what? This is why the white man don't want to let him go. All right. In America, since the lockdown, and you see them open up all these states, and we say, you see it, they're so wicked. They're opening up the states that have the more black people, the black majority states. Why do you think they do that? Yes.
Why have they done so?
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said before, they can do
These states turn more money. And it is since this shutdown that we know understanding that you have one state, one black majority states that run all 6 other states, supplying income to 6 other states. So they had to open the black ones first, so that money can get to turn within the society. Look, we look at it and say, why are they wicked? But trust me, because we don't know our input in the society. And they are so wicked that they treat us like animals while the system is on their back. So they have no regard for you, but you are the ones keeping up the system. That's why they're going to come to Jezreel, the valley of decision, man, to try and come and get back Israelites, to put back in their system. Because they're not going to make anything, not even a quarter, not even 1/8 of what they would have been making now when Israelites are among them.
So like you said, and it's just like when the Moses freed us from Egypt, when Pharaoh come.
Yeah, when he came back after the people, why do you think he come back and try to come and get the people?
Because he realized that his kingdom, the king would have gone under without Israel's labor.
We weren't in the kingdom anymore, and you get up, you see dirty streets. Your sorry, your top your ministers and so on who would have had their slaves and things to prepare food and things for them. Nothing can get done. Because believe it or not, all right, out here you have like the prime minister. The prime minister have two or three helpers plus gardener. Is these helpers help them to come out at daytime and work, iron the clothes, wash the clothes, prepare the meal before they come and eat, before they come on the road. So if they didn't have them within the household, I think they'll be able to come out. So after having no servants around them, they might survive the first day or two. But after the clothes that were ironed run out, no one there know to prepare the meal. And them don't know to cook. Dirty place. The dishes dirty, the house dirty, the outside in the streets dirty. That's why Pharaoh went after the people to come back. It is not only to make bricks for the pyramid, but the servants within the households, within the system, wasn't there. And it's the same thing why they are going to come to the valley of decision. I say, I hear me. We have all these weapons, who want about them people there. So they are going to try and come and get you to bring you back into their system, into their country. But that is when they are going to lose. And they will lose grip on us forever. All right, continue reading.
Verse 19. All the firstling males that come of thy herd and of thy flock, thou shalt sanctify unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep.
Right, so the first, when your animal have the first one to open the matrix, you're supposed to give it to the Levites. Because remember, the Levites take the Lord's portion. So when he say that it is for the Lord, you mean you'll give it to the Levites. So if it's an ass, let's say it's a donkey, you're going to take it and give it to the Levites. They take it and do whatever they want to do with it. All right, that's what, 19?
Thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God year by year, in the place which the Lord shall choose, thou and thy household. And if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame, or blind, or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sacrifice it unto the Lord thy God. Verse 22. Thou shalt eat it within thy gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alive, as the roebuck and as the hart. Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof. Thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water.
So all firstling male that come of thy herd and of thy flock, thou shalt sanctify it unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. What does shear the sheep to do? What is shear it to do? To make wool. Yeah, you shear the sheep to make wool. So the first male that comes of any one of the animals, that belongs to God. Now here it is telling you that For instance, if it's a sheep, it says you eat it before the Lord. But thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God, year by year, in the place which the Lord shall choose, thou and thy household. All right. But there is also one where you carry to the priest, which you sacrifice, but you don't eat. You give it all to the priest. And then, for instance, if it's an ass, you don't sacrifice unclean animals, so you give them to the priest. You don't sacrifice them, but you use them to do work. Horse, ass, mule. Mule is a crossbreed, just for work. You never see Bible talk about mule, talk about ass. All right, any question on this chapter? All right. So the Most High tell us that we should have a year of release. It also tells us that we should keep the Lord's holy days. And this pops up so many times in the scriptures. So many times. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 16.
Deuteronomy chapter 16.
All right, we're going to do this one a little different. Start from 9.
Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 9. 7 weeks shall thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God with a tribute of a free offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. Verse 11. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy manservant and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, in the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to place his name there.
All right, so this is describing what? Feast of Weeks, huh?
Feast of Weeks. Continue.
All right. Now, this is telling that it is 7 weeks shall thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. So that is when. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord. Feast of weeks is when? When was the feast of weeks for this year? Yeah, Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, blown of trumpet, Day of Atonement, tabernacle. Which one is the feast of weeks?
The Feast of First Fruits.
First fruits?
I never heard of it.
Hmm?
Never heard of the Feast of Weeks.
It's one of these, man. Something else, man. Not unleavened bread, not Passover. But first fruit is starts after the Sabbath, unleavened bread. Sundown, blah, 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 blah. Then we have blown of trumpet. Nah, Day of Atonement, nah. Tabernacle, 15 down to 7 months for 8 days now. Dedication, no. All right, I think that would be first fruit. First fruit. When you begin to put in the sickle to the corn. All right. And following the Feast of Weeks is Feast of Booths. All right, so let me see, Feast of Booths is what? Tabernacle. No problem. Because of the first fruit, they are blowing up trumpet, they have atonement, then tabernacle. All right, let's read on and see. So 7 weeks thou shalt number unto thee, begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put in the sickle to the cord, and thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God, with a tribute of a free will offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant, maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are among you, the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to place his name there. So you see, all we know is Israelite, your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant. Well, manservant and maidservant can also be of other races. Yeah, could be of other races. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes. So you have Passover, Feast of Weeks, then Feast of Booths. It's three tell about here. All right, so we're guessing that the Feast of Booths, Feast of Weeks is which one I say? Feast of First Fruit. All right. And it's a count one. 7 weeks, 749. Yeah, man, because this count 50 days.
Okay.
And you only celebrate the 50th day. Feast of First Fruit. This one says, begin to number the 7 weeks from such time. 7 days in a week, so 7 or 49.
Answer.
Right. So this one's a 50 days. It's on 7 weeks. It's the fruit of first fruit. First fruit. That's the Feast of Weeks. 13.
Verse 13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates. Verse 15. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord shall choose, because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all the works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the Feast of Weeks, and in the Feast of Tabernacles, and they shall not appear
Okay, that's why
before
then.
the Lord empty.
That's why he's all of them three the name there, so because that's the three time that all male in the society must attend the feasts.
Verse 17, every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee.
All right, so feast of weeks, feast of booths, and the feast of unleavened bread. But we're going to see a feast of unleavened bread. We're going to read that for last. Go to 18.
Verse 18, judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. Thou shalt not wrest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift, for a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of righteousness.
All right, so the man who is a justice in your system, who is your judge, I shouldn't give that man gifts. Right? Now, the word to that man is there can be a respect of person. You know, like in our system where if you are Mr. So and so, then what? You're liable to walk free, don't
Oh,
you? Yeah. Look at you remember this case where this person from a prominent company got a speeding ticket. Remember that one?
continue.
And this decorated officer got involved in it somehow and got his name tarnished. And the person who got the speeding ticket, who was trying to bribe a police, let him get something like a slap on the wrist,
Continue.
if anything.
Mm-hmm. What this is mine?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It was Tankwell. Remember Tankwell?
Continue.
Hmm. It was one of the big names. It was in the news, man. It was plastered in the news. You can call him name. He got a slap on the wrist. He's still Mr. So and so. And that decorated officer, well, I don't know if him losing pension, but you know, him lose out a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
He was the model cop. Remember, he was the one they were using for advertisement on TV for promoting the force and so on.
Oh,
Yeah, feel still,
you
but
do not again.
hmm?
You do not again. Nothing possible to us again.
Hey, hear me? He said, one little 3,000 a ticket. Make him and go and go pay it. Who him be? Poor and you pay it. Go pay it. Yeah, try if you not pay one little 3,000 a ticket and mess up other people's life. And I can bet him don't pay. Well, maybe employ the officer still. I don't know. You can employ him to roll over, to run him security. But you leave with a bad name after so many years of investment. All right. But anyway, he wasn't done any justice. But it's same thing with happens with judges. Respect of person and what I mean by don't thou shalt not rest judgment. Look what rest means. WREST.
Forcibly pull. Rest means forcibly pull
Right.
from a person's grasp.
Like wrestle. So don't take away judgment. For instance, somebody in authority like a prime minister or a minister can wrest judgment. Yeah, it happens sometimes. Like certain politically strong person, certain judgment is supposed to come down on them, but you use your influence to wrest judgment from them.
Mm-hmm.
Understand?
Freedom.
Yes, to free them. But our laws is saying don't do that. You shall not be any respect of person. If a man poor or him rich, let the judgment run its course. Read 20.
Verse 20. That which is altogether just shall thou follow, that thou may live and inherit the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Right.
Verse 21. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near unto the altar of the Lord thy God,
All right,
which
so
thou shalt
21,
make thee.
21 here is going into um for how you should worship the Most High. So we talk about groves, cut down the groves and so on. So a grove is where you have an altar within among trees. So you plant up some trees among the altar. Like the Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove is like some forestry area. They reserve it as a forest. And within that forest area, there's an altar. So here the Most High is telling that you shall not plant a grove of any trees near the altar of the Lord thy God. Continue.
Verse 22. Neither shalt thou set thee up any image which the Lord thy God hateth.
Right. So the Most High, this is why I can understand, like the Anglicans and the Catholics. Yeah, what peer image in the church, And the Most High is telling you, no form of image should be in the church, in his place of worship. All right, we're going to go back now to up top to verse 1.
Deuteronomy 16 and verse 1. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
So you see, the Bible tell you which month to come out of Egypt. Which month is Abib?
April.
April. They tell you which month to come out of Egypt. Call it April, first month of the year. So that is why you know that that is why you pay taxes first month of the year. Taxes are always due at that time. Continue reading.
Verse 2. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God of the flock and the herd in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there.
All right, it's a sacrifice of Passover. Which animal we use for Passover?
The lamb.
Always the sheep. Always use a lamb. Roast, and it tell you it must be roasted. I can roast it and then you sod it. What is sodding?
Cooking down.
Right, when I say I cook it down to gravy. Yeah. All right, read verse 3.
Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4, and there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days, neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrificest the first day of the evening remain all night until the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your son. Amen.
Hmm? Yeah,
Verse
at
5. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
mm-hmm.
Verse 6. But that the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice. There thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt.
All right, so what is it telling you? That the Passover must be kept in one place.
Hmm.
Passover is not something that you keep at your yard. Keep it in one place.
Under one order.
Hmm?
Under one order.
Under one order. Right. So we're at what, 7?
Concern. And thou shalt roast and eat in the place which the Lord thy God
Roast
shall
and
choose.
eat it. Eat.
Salakia. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work therein.
So the first day and the last day, Passover take place over a 7-day period. The first day and the last day, yeah, sorry, is a holy day, or what Esau call a holiday, in which you do no servile work. So you get rest, so that you can go and have your feast on the first and the seventh day. All right. Now, this is from the days of the Old Testament, but you find that in the time of the New Testament, the Passover was still being kept. There was no changing. All right, let's go to book of Luke. '22, Luke chapter 22, verse 7. I'm going to read from 7 to 20.
Luke chapter 22, verse 7. Then came the day of the unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed.
All right, so this was in the time of Christ, where the Passover was still being kept. Now, we just read where it says the Passover must be kept at one place, but Christ made a difference because Christ knew what was to come. That was why when he kept the Passover, the multitude wasn't there with him. The multitude knew that the Passover was to be kept on the temple. But Christ knew that the temple was going to be destroyed. So he had to show us that Passover can be kept somewhere else other than the temple. It was being kept so because it said it must be kept where the Lord called his name, don't? Hmm?
Answer.
Now, when I look into it, the Lord called his name on Christ. So Christ could have kept the Passover somewhere other than Jerusalem. Because Christ knew that the time is going to come when it won't be kept at Jerusalem. Continue reading.
And he sent, verse 8, and he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat.
When you
And they
prepare the
said,
Passover, you sacrifice it and you roast it.
verse 9, and they said unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare? And he said unto them, Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he entered in. And ye shall say unto the goodman of the house, The master saith unto thee, where is the guest chamber, where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples? And he shall show you a large upper room furnished. There make ready. Verse 13. And they went and found as he had said unto them, and they made ready the Passover. And when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him. And he said unto them, with desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof, until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God.
All right, so that was the last time Christ kept his Passover. And he said he won't be keeping it again until
It be fulfilled in the kingdom of God.
so when we reach in the kingdom, he will keep it again. As the next time he will be eating of the Passover. And
he took the cup and gave thanks and said, Take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine, until the kingdom of God shall come.
so he said that he will not drink wine also until
The fruit of the vine.
the fruit of the vine is what?
Wine.
That's wine. Until the kingdom of God shall come. So Passover, normally drink wine with it. There's wine and there is the Passover, unleavened bread and the roasted lamb. What verse are now?
Verse 19. And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it, and gave unto him, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Verse 20. Likewise also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you.
So Christ showed them a new way of Passover, showing that he is now the Passover. Because what? He's the one who's going to lead us out from here, isn't it? But can you imagine if the high priest and so knew that he was having Passover there? They probably would have held him and crucified him before time. And they just want to see him breaking one, diverting from one of the law. Because they did not know that the Romans, who they were looking to, was planning against them. But Christ knew that the Romans were going to come and take over Jerusalem totally. Not just having Jerusalem as a, what do I call it now? As one of their province, but to take it over totally. And that's what happened. All right, so any question? So talk about that. We're going into We're into some prayers. Speaking the Lord's Prayer. I know that we say Amaju, which means we say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, and then in English. Lord's Prayer in ancient Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwatha, Taba, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakan, Kam, Yawam, Masalak Lanawa, Kawabwatna, Kasalakna, Kawabwatyana, Walaha, Tabayana, Panasaya, Abba, Awashaina, Maya, Ra, Kai, Laka, Amalakwa, Wahahala, Wathapara, Laiwalama, Amen. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. You say, I.S.U.P.K, prayer for the destruction of our enemies. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh. Listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, and death to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets and teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers and the school, send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, and death to the heathen, and shake loose the pockets of the rich of Israel, that refuse to give to the school, force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary, send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, and death to the Edomites, and the nation, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the government of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, Skinheads, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channels, and the radio channel. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift death to all the heathen that stand in the way, or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the terrorists. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and destroy. Cause the terrorists to come against America and destroy them in their strongholds. Let America shake at the hands of the terrorists Let Yahweh shine.
Let Yahweh shine.
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Gabriel
come down with the flying saucers
come down with the flying saucers
and kill all the heathen
and kill all the heathens
that come up against us
that come up against us
as we speak that word.
as we speak of it.
Cause it to be known by all
Cause it to be known by all
that it is the angels that have done it.
that it is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread throughout the media,
Cause it to be spread throughout the media,
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake up that coming.
Cause them to shake at their coming.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Thank you. Always so be.
Always so be.
Prayer for the poor. Yahweh Basham Yahushai.
Yahweh Basham Yahushai.
Baba Kasham.
Baba Kasham.
Nathan Lanao.
Nathan Lanao.
Akak.
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 Larapa.
Larapa.
Kalmakana.
Kalmakala.
Wakal Madawa.
Kalmadawa.
Akak.
Akak.
Lataha.
Lataha.
Amatazarian.
Amatazarian.
Akak.
Akak.
Lahakwayam.
Lahakwayam.
Amathman.
Amathman.
Akak.
Akak.
Ilwakawa.
Ilwakawa.
Atamala.
Atamala.
Lagarasha.
Lagarasha.
Basham Yahushai.
Basham Yahushai.
Tawada Aman.
Tawada Aman.
What we just said is, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
Power to heal all manner of sickness.
Power to heal all manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
Power to cleanse the lepers.
Power to cleanse lepers.
Power to raise the dead.
Power to raise the dead.
Power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Alright. ISUPK security and announcement. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 135th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has any interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, 8 to 10. Means 10th in Hebrew when it's pronounced Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase in what gives you give to the Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund. We will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. Feast of Dedication. 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days. Wednesday, December 9, 2024. 8 days. Second Maccabees 4, 52 to 61. Akeman at the Aquatium, we are reminded to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which include black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, we say a margin, which means to stand. One courtesy salute to the teacher, Marjum Shabbat, Marjum Barak, Yahweh Sham Yahushai Barakatam. Courtesy salute to the sisters, please stand. Brothers turn and face the sisters. Marjum Shabbat, Marjum Barak, Yahweh Shamar Ilatan Basham Yahushai.
Yahweh Shamar Ilatan Basham Yahushai.
And with that, we say Yad B'Tah, class dismissed.